Hi, and welcome to the Pundits Pundit.
Yeah.
We have an action-packed show tonight for everybody. And to start the introductions off, we have Jacob Christner in the middle of Scott and I at the bottom, just where it should be, right, Scott? And he is the Pundits Pundit. And we
No,
have
I am your mother's favorite pundits pundit. I am the tarantula's favorite pundits pundit. I am even Trump's favorite pundits pundit if he actually paid attention to any of those.
Yeah, you and I might have to chat after this then.
I have to have a little fun. I have to do what something what Denzel would do.
And then we have, of course, Mr. Scott, Motor Mouth, Detroit City. I did that wrong. I'm sorry, Scott. Morganroth of the Tribune South. Hi, Scott. How are you tonight?
Hello, Jennifer. Good to see you again. Yeah, I'm
Good
doing
to see you
fine.
too.
So many.
Sorry, it's been a while.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? Even though you've been out of sight for a little while, you certainly haven't been out of mine. That's for sure. No,
Exactly.
a lot of people call me Motor Mouth because it's short anyway. So I've heard it. The personality doesn't change, even if the name might even in important form.
Hey, Jacob and I may have been called Motor Mouths in our past as well.
Oh,
Once or twice.
I just got told to quit rattling all the time, which I never listened to.
Do you listen to anyone, Pundit?
No, not really. No,
I didn't think so.
No. I've been a bit of a renegade in my time.
You're funny. So how have you guys been this week? Everything going okay?
Doing all right. We're jammed with a lot of shows, and I'm starting to make plans for a lot of them. And of course, we have to get our holiday agenda set up because we're going to take a break when I go to Wisconsin to be with my father-in-law, he just turned 80 years old. So we have to make plans.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's not, he's hanging in there. I mean, one of my cousins gives him the name Kettle Corn. So if you can dictate what that type of personality, but we're trying to make, here at the Tribune, we're trying to make plans for the holidays and try to get in as many good shows as we can before the end of the year. And then we have a lot of things that are really, really positive things that'll be in store for 2023, both on the streaming side, Jennifer and Jacob, as well as on the remote side. I mean, the best part about what we do is we don't rely on streaming. We love being on as guests, creating our own identity with other places. And then, of course, the streaming and then being on site. I mean, I was joking around with a guy. If you don't mind me sharing the story with you, I'd like to do it on Monday night. I had a show with a guy named Russell Branham, and this guy here is unbelievable. I think I shared you the show about NASCAR. We were on for 90 minutes. I had a good one-on-one interview promoting Talladega, Miami Homestead, as well as Daytona. And I've got some projects, and this guy and I, to me, we get along really well. He's a 57-year-old PR guy. I'm right around 60 years old. And you talk about two guys that work well together. We definitely did. And we talked about racing for all of 90 minutes, and it was just a fun show. So my plans are next year is to do a lot of variety of things, including doing some in-depth one-on-one interviews, as well as complemented with a lot more versatility so that everybody can benefit all the way around. So, and of course, we had our regular amount of shows, and we'll be adding other ones, which obviously Jennifer, you and Jacob are a part of. So,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for that. We do appreciate it, Scott.
Appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, we love having you guys on, Jennifer, and Jacob. You two have been the constants. JBL has always been the constant, and as well as the contributions we get. But you three, I value in a way more than you guys will ever know.
Really. I appreciate
and we really do appreciate you a lot, Scott, more than you know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
We talk about you behind your back on occasion.
Hey, listen, we tell you something.
We tell you look 87. It's just that kind of deal.
87?
No, Jacob, that's me saying that to you.
Oh, okay.
90 years old. Hey, listen, one of the things I'm intrigued about is, Jennifer, is I love the chemistry that you have with Candy Ebling and the rest, and Carrie and Megan. So I think if there's one thing I'm excited to see develop in 2023 is a relationship that you four ladies have.
Yeah, we have a good thing going.
Yeah, Candy, I mean, I've given her some airtime when I have to go on the road to do shows or other things. And between what she does with you guys and what she does with us, she's an MVP on a lot of different fronts. So,
Yeah.
her show Fire Up Wisconsin is starting to take off now.
Awesome. Go
That's
Candy.
good.
Go Candy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I was
Well-
going to say one of the things about it is the fact that I can say this. I remember getting Jenn on with our show for the first time, and it's like I tried 2 other times. I said I knew I needed Jenn for a producer, for help, for all that kind of stuff like that. And it's like it has flowed smoothly since her and Jay and all that. And then Scott, you make it a help also. So I enjoy. At the end of this year, I can just say I'm very thankful for all you guys.
well, you know,
And
I got to tell you a funny story at Miami Homestead. I won't mention any names, but Candy's taking pictures, in Victory Lane. And I'm out there trying to take a few too. And some photographer didn't help. I was 3 inches taller than him either. So I was talking to me in a nasty way. And I'd shoot him out like Bobby Knight. If anybody knows who Bobby Knight is.
We all know who Bobby Knight is.
We're not that young.
Well, no, I know. So anyways.
Maturity level, we may be, but
this guy is such a great PR guy. And he's become a really good friend. He's like, he said, Scott, it's okay. You got Candy here. You're okay. Don't worry about it. So then I get down politely. Okay, thanks, buddy. He said, but we're okay. You and me are really good. And by the end of the day, he said, I want to be on one of your shows, which obviously made it happen Monday night. And meanwhile, Candy took the pictures and I got out of the way, got the hint. He never held it against me. He just knows I'm a fiery individual. When he asked me to ask questions about when we do these media availabilities, because he knows I'm going to make sure I spit out a few that'll be worth recording. So, it's just sometimes when you deal in this industry, Jennifer, it's a good lesson for you as well, is what you end up finding certain PR guys with that you really get along with, where a simple email and a relationship connection makes your job a whole lot easier. And that's as we continue to get to know each other, I'll show you some tricks on how you navigate through some of those challenges, as well as Candy. But no, this guy's a trip. Him and I are like crazy brothers. I'm crazy brothers with a lot of people because, it is, what can I say? I've been around the business for 43 years. I've seen them all, young, old, whatever, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but more the majority of it was good. So
that's awesome. I'm glad you had fun.
Well,
Sorry, my voice keeps going in and out. If any of the audience sees me, I'm just popping different throat lozengers. So
what's a lozenger?
I'm sorry.
What's a lozenger?
Do not pull that card my husband pulls. I will drive to Atlanta and beat you. If I beat him, it's domestic violence.
Okay. Well,
let's start.
That was our first title.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and kick it off. So, Jacob, I think this is yours. Tomorrow in the future.
TMRW, yes.
Oh, was that supposed to be TMRW?
Yeah, TMRW.
Oh, let me edit that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. TMRW. It's like, no, and I was going to bring it. No. As I said, I understand what you were doing on that part, and I'm not getting stalled. What TMRW is like Tiger Woods, Rory, and a bunch of like Serena Williams. They've all invested into it's starting with golf, and it's going to go a bunch of different ways. What it's starting with, anybody ever played Top Golf?
No, I haven't. I've seen them.
Have you played Top Golf, Jenn?
No.
Well, Top Golf is basically you go.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'd say this, Scott. So what Top Golf is like you go onto like little electronic driving ranges, and then they and you get your own, and then you try to hit targets, and then it tells you based off how many yards you are and how far you are to the target and stuff. Well, what TMRW is, this is starting with golf, is they're gonna have in stadiums, in full-fledged stadiums, they're gonna have like electronic 12 to 18 hole golf matches with like that kind of deal, Top Golf, with that level to try to get the young people into the world. And if it works out, it could happen with other sports too, to get young. The whole idea of this is to get young people into sports now, because they're not watching in the same boat. Like I read, like 53% of kids watch the same way we did. So that's the whole point of TMRW. It's going to start with golf. They're going to try it even more. It's to try to get them. It's like most of golf is watching them walk.
Right.
Watching them walk 18 holes, which can bore. It wouldn't bore an old. The average age of the PGA Tour watcher is 67.8 years old.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. So they're trying to be able to get younger people to watch, and there's no real walking in this type of thing because it's inside of a stadium and you're just going across your end, and it's just going to be based off of electronic targets and everything, and how the and there's going to be professionals playing.
Okay, so they took what NASCAR did during the pandemic and they put it on golf.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And they're doing
Because
something
NASCAR
like,
was the only professional sport to still make money during the pandemic because they were able to do it that way.
yeah.
So
And I feel like they should absolutely be paying NASCAR a little fee, but they won't, and I know that.
Yeah.
So,
But-
Jacob, let me ask you a question. Are you talking about simulating the sport? Is that what you're?
It's what the professional players are going. The professional players by themselves are going to be there in a stadium. They're going to get like 20, 30,000 seat stadiums and put this in there. And they are going to swing a real golf club, but it's going to be in a simulation type thing where you walk across and it's going to be with targets to be able to hit with holes and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be a simulation of a drive, and then you do, that kind of thing, and where the ball would be. That's what it's going to be. The kind of different things that TMRW is going to do.
So I'm wondering whether or not Big Bertha will be needed for this simulation thing. I'll tell you, the one thing I liked about my Big Bertha club when I was healthy enough to play the game is if you hit it straight on the line, that thing went a long way.
Yeah.
Or as my Hall of Fame broadcasting uncle, Ernie Harwell, would say, he would say, long gone. I'm telling you, Jennifer. So, yeah, no, my voice can do it. Don't try to emulate my uncle, who's, by the way, in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a Ford Frick Award winner, for the Detroit Tigers. But no, so I wonder whether Big Berthas are going to be necessary in the Top Golf scenario.
You have to wonder. I mean, they did since they did that with racing. You have to wonder if racing's next. You have to wonder how many sports are going to do.
If racing's next, racing was first.
No, it was. I'm talking about if it's next to do it more. See, they're back into the normal crowds and all that again. But just to get people watching, they were first. But you have to wonder if they're going to do it more full time.
No, because you want, like, Kyle Busch is one that feeds off people hating him.
Yeah,
Kyle Busch is actually my favorite driver, but because of course I can't really call him the underdog except for this season, but yeah, like. No, like, it's amazing how much NASCAR is in the forefront of so much.
Sure.
Like, without NASCAR and wrestling, North Carolina would not be the sports state that it is. Like, we were the leader in college basketball, football. Alabama has since taken that over, obviously, in Clemson. But without wrestling and NASCAR, we wouldn't have gotten the Hornets, which ultimately led to us getting the Panthers. And the NHL and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Let me give you a little situation back in 1987. Try to sell billboard ads and advertising in Gastonia, North Carolina, realizing that you're ignorant enough to know that area you're competing with NASCAR, and then you're trying to deal with minor league baseball to sell ads. I was ignorant. I didn't know the market well. Actually managed to make it through a season there, but my God, that doesn't give me a NASCAR lesson. I didn't know what it did. Until I would later find out later on that, I understood how big Charlotte was. But again, I was just a director of public relations for a Class A team. By the way, that Class A team had Sammy Sosa and Juan Gonzalez on it, and we lost all of about 90 games.
Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
But yeah, no, you're right. NASCAR, and now, of course, very few people realize, to me, that NASCAR is a passion of mine. Jennifer, I'll bet you've heard the name. You ever heard of David Poole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was good friends with him back in the day in Gastonia, and my friend Russell had heard about him, and David covered it, and I used to see him at racetracks all the time. So
he actually might be one of my mom's cousins.
David Poole?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to work for the Gastonia Gazette or Gaston Gazette many years ago. I don't know.
I know him through my mom. I think he's one of her cousins or second cousins.
Well,
you brought up
cards in my car. Oh, I'm sorry, Jacob. You're right. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has invested millions into virtual racing. NASCAR. A lot of NASCAR drivers actually got really mad at him before he retired because NASCAR kept changing the rules for Junior.
Well, you brought up the WWE and NASCAR. Vince also, a lot of the biggest thing, and we already know what kind of character Vince is, but the biggest thing that Vince did is he took so much of a lot of his a lot of the production values that he did, he was one of the first. Like even in XFL, that floating camera over the stadium, that started XFL first. The floating that you would see. I'm talking about the one that you see floating. It would be over the quarterback when they were doing that. That was XFL first for the NFL.
They were doing that with Cam Newton in 2011, but okay.
No. It was 2001. XFL was 2001.
Oh, XFL was? Okay.
Yeah, XFL was 2001 first, and then
I was thinking of I forgot about that one.
Yeah. The XFL did that for, and then
that wasn't Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was the XFL a couple of years ago.
No, but I'm talking about the very first XFL in 2001. Very first before it went.
Yeah, he wasn't part of that, was he?
Yes, he was. He owned that very first one in 2001.
Well, I don't know. You and Jay seem to think a lot of Vince McMahon.
Well, no,
I think he's a POS personally.
Character. We don't have to say character because he's a horrible person.
That's because you have character.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, but I'm saying we don't have to say that part. But what I'm talking about is the technology that was brought about that he literally, maybe when he was in the wrestling full blast at what he did, he didn't sit on his money like a lot of the wrestling people did. He didn't sit on it. He put it into production values, which no one could beat at that time. Now it's like he was one of the first with 8K cameras, even before he left. One of the first, and now 8K is big with the sports now. Huge.
Well, what annoys me with even 4K, all the news stations have these cameras, but so few of them actually record the games in 4K or 8K.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous not to.
Oh yeah, Triple H and Steph and all of them now. I mean, WWE has phenomenal production values. That's just been. But
yeah, I'm sorry, he raped women. I'm sorry.
We know his character. I'm just talking about the business end. We know that. But TMW, the thing about TMW is like it's going to depend on how it does with golf. This could be the future of how we watch sports. It's like, mind you, we're always going to have the sports that we have, but there's going to be more leagues.
Yeah, you're always going to have the Masters. You're always going to have the Scott, are you a golfer?
Well, a long time ago I was. I really never covered.
What's the course in Ireland? What's that big master in Ireland? It's like the oldest golf course in the world.
1674 or something. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you're not ever going to take. Like, I mean, I can see for someone like Tiger who should be retired with all the injuries he sustained, both on and off the course. I could see where this would be easier and less impactful on his body. But, and even McElroy and a couple others. But, I mean, you're never going to get rid of the tours.
Right. And it's like, and no, you're not going to. And it's like, but I think they're trying to get this. The idea, like for instance, Quincy University back in my town, they have their football team in Quincy, but they also have a 7-on-7 football league. I forget what kind of football it's called. They just started it this year. It's for smaller players. It's smaller, faster type of football, and they've got that league, and they have 7 games. So it's like there's going to be all kinds of different competition and mindset with sports now, not just this rule, that rule, everything like that. It's like you could have your Masters, you could have your golf league, but you're also going to have virtual golf. You can have those things. You can have.
It's just that, I mean, golf is boring to watch on TV, point blank. It is. I don't see fans paying $70 to go watch people hit at a simulated golf course.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably it's one of the few sports. You know what? Listen, you know what? I've covered a lot of the major sports, and for me, I love auto racing, whether it's open wheel, whether it's NASCAR. But for me, golf was just in one area you can't cover everything. That's all there is to it. You can choose where you have, and trying to promote golf on social media these days isn't the easiest task. Finding a niche sport. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the history of golf is unbelievable. When you talk about the Arnold Palmers, the Jack Nicklauses, and so forth. So nobody will refute the history of the sport. But the reality is it's a tough sport to cover, following these guys 18 old. I'm not watching it on TV. I mean, I have trazodone that'll put me to sleep before I do that. Nothing against the sport per se. So if I have any golf fans out there, don't take it personal, but it is what it is. So, but I don't know. I mean, the reality is to me, I think the course you're referring to, they play the British Open out there, right? So from time to time.
Yeah, the British Open. Yeah, the Open.
Well, the British Open is different from what I'm talking about. I think. I don't know. I don't watch enough golf.
Ireland,
Like I would go to the Masters. I would go. I've gone to like the PGA tours in Charlotte. I've gone to the Wells Fargo Championship. I'll go to those tours because for me, golf is better in person than on TV. Just like baseball is better over the radio than it is watching on TV.
Well, I think the reason, I don't think Arnold Palmer or Jack Nicklaus would make it as stars today in the same boat, is because when they were making it in the 60s, you had basically the final round, and they didn't have 10,000 cameras following every hole for different players. So you followed the stars, Nicklaus and Palmer.
If they want younger crowds, what they need to do is Tiger needs to have one of his kids hit the golf course.
Well, he did. Charlie. Yeah, he is now. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
see how much I pay attention to sports?
Well, baseball is trying to get the younger crowd too, so they have to redo everything by doing some of these gimmicky rule changes.
They will.
You know, whether it's the ghost runner or whatever to try to take care of the pace of the game. So a lot of sports are having to evolve right now based on what you're doing in 2022, 23 versus taking away the purest and traditional part of it that many of us grew accustomed to dealing with.
Well, yeah, 2024 is going to be the first tournaments for that virtual thing when the stadiums are building stadiums for it.
Yeah.
So they're building stadiums for it now. So it's like you got to realize there's
they might want to see if they can't just borrow some stadiums before they build them.
Yeah, there's stadiums for video games now. So
now, is Top Golf involved in this?
I do not know. I'd have to look that up.
Because I do know that Top Golf has a simulated, sounds very similar to this, club in Uptown Charlotte.
Right. So no, that's something I think you'd enjoy actually. So you get a couple drinks. See how you.
Dude, I need a couple of drinks tonight to get my throat back. I don't even drink, but I've been drinking some rock and rye just to get this much of a voice.
Yeah.
So last night was a struggle.
Well, Jacob and I have double headers, so Jacob, you and I can't afford to lose our.
No, you can't. Yeah, and that's why I couldn't do Confidential last night because I knew. Like Jake called me on Sunday and he was like, "Oh, you sound bad." I was like, "Yeah, I felt good." But enough about me. Let's go on to my favorite pastime, gentlemen. NFL and investing in flag football. All right, so Jacob, take us away on this one. I'm going to take over the sinking of cryptocurrency.
No problem. Biggest thing about it is what they use during the times of the England, Germany, and Mexico City, which these games are going to be throughout this year, is they are having a big investment and promoting the idea of flag football. They're going to have flag football leagues, and they're building all of this now. And the thing I'm trying to wonder is, are you building it as an NFL flag football, NFLFF, for instance? Or are you trying to do something like that? Or with all the injuries, is this a 10, 15 year down the line to try to make it flag or make things even more safe?
I wonder. They're trying to make it an Olympic event in LA in 2028.
Right.
Well, the one thing you guys are missing, though, is with the Pro Bowl being canceled, I believe that they're incorporating flag football as one of the events during the Pro Bowl week versus the actual game itself. They've tried so many different things with the game to make it more interesting, but a lot of guys aren't playing as hard. And I saw a Pro Bowl back here in Miami when they held a Super Bowl, and at least I got that off my all-star bucket list, so to speak, to do it. Mm-hmm. But no, I think they're incorporating that into the Pro Bowl week. That flag football is one of them, and I'm on the NFL communications list, so I see a lot of releases coming my way about it. So and evidently the NFL, of all leagues, if there's an opportunity to make money or a PR thing, they don't miss a beat. They don't. So I believe that flag football is going to be part of the Pro Bowl festivities, and that's why you're probably seeing the investment on behalf of the Shield.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the officiating is better in flag football than in
NFL. No kidding. But the thing about Pro Bowl needed to be gone.
Right.
It did. It was boring. It was a cost.
It was boring. You didn't think of, and it's like, and in truth, I feel like that the NBA All-Star game needs to be gone. It's like
And All-Star Weekend is more exciting
No, the
because you
weekend
have
is
different.
fun. The
You have
weekend's
more
awesome.
events. The actual game I can agree with,
Yeah, they
but
agree.
like
No,
the dunk contest, the things like that. That's
oh, I
not
want
fun.
those. I want those to continue.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are star. Those are star build. Those bring the. Here's the thing. Those 3-point contests, the skills contest, the dunk contest, all of that stuff. That brings the stars. That brings the stars in. The stars could not care less about that game.
My biggest regret. Okay, I have 3 big regrets in life, and one of them was when All-Star Weekend was in Charlotte. As you know, the place I used to live had a lot of Panthers players.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys invited me and my neighbor, and Alton just wasn't standing there, but to go to Ink and Ivy, which is where Beyonce and Jay-Z had rented out for the entire weekend for their party. I said no because I actually like this particular player so much as a person.
Yeah.
I never wanted. He invited me, like he and his girlfriend invited me, and I said no because I didn't ever want them to think I was using them for who they are in the community. I
Yeah.
kick myself for not going, y'all. I kick myself for not going.
Well, and that's and that's understood. It's like my thing though is I like the idea of what you said, flag football, but really, should this lead to every sport just having a just have like the home run derby, for instance, is amazing time for baseball. It's an amazing show. Can you end the Major League Baseball? Can you end that All-Star game?
Well, I know like Cam Newton had a dodgeball, all-star dodgeball game and a flag football game. Every year it was to raise money for his charity. And it was just fun to go watch. And so I love that. I actually feel like the NFL gets a lot of their takes from players. Like D'Angelo Williams had to get permission initially to wear pink on his cleats for his mother who was battling breast cancer.
Yeah.
Now the NFL has a whole push with it.
Yep.
I think D'Angelo started it. I think that there's a lot of different things. I think it's because of OJ Simpson. The NFL does so much investing in the communities now. That's just my take because, and Scott, you know this better than I do. Honestly, in 1996, we had the Panthers for one season at that point. But prior to that, was there a lot of volunteer work with the NFL and the local communities? Do you know?
You know what? I don't think they viewed it as big as they do now because let's face the reality. You have to understand the commissioners that are involved and all that. I know when Pete Rozelle was running the show, there wasn't a whole lot. The league was growing to another level. Then you had Paul Tagliabue take over and then on to Roger Goodell. So Roger Goodell obviously has had to make sure there's more community involved because let's face the reality, as the prices of tickets go up, in order to keep fans vested into coming to the game, you want to have to give something back. But It just depends on the eras and the commissioners as well. There's always going to be some community involvement with whatever commissioner you have at certain times, but more so now. I mean, back then, who would have thought fantasy football was anything that was going to amount to anything? So
fantasy football is more trouble than it's worth. I have
I'm not trying to open up another. Hold on, let me finish. I'm not trying to open up another can of worms here, but the game has changed and evolved based on the times about what you did. Community work has always been there, but now there's such a greater emphasis because again, you're charging more money for the product, and that's how you have to keep these people involved. And that's where I'm going with the whole thing.
Well, the true thing with you talking about fantasy football, I want to play with these goobers with sideline. I mean, I love these guys. Like I call it this thing. I love these guys. I want to play with these guys. I want to beat these guys. Just get a little competitive with them. But overall, I hate the fantasy football. I hate the whole thing of how you get these many people that threaten the players' lives for having a bad game because they had to bet. I can't stand that.
It's a game.
It is a game. Oh yeah.
It's fantasy. It's in the title.
It's fantasy. Well, see, it's like there's this one goober on doof on Twitter who literally was taking a victory lap because he was saying, "I told you Cooper Kupp wasn't the man. He got injured. Ha ha." Took a victory lap over it, and it was like, and a human being, a male human being, getting hurt because so he could be right. And it's like fantasy's gone out of control.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I was in fantasy with my wife's family for a few years. Didn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
But I won 2 championships. My problem with fantasy football, and again, maybe the nature of my profession, is I got sick and tired of losing to people that knew a million times less than me because of the luck factor. I didn't need fantasy football. I had reality football. Let me take my tape recorder.
And there is the difference, Scott, 100%. You just said it. You just said it. There's a difference. Like there are people, like I know the actual game of football. I suck at fantasy football. I'm not that girl that's just going to go read PFF all day long and then tweet out crap because you know what? PFF are stats, but those stats can change on any given Sunday.
PFF sucks.
Yeah, well, but the reality is me being a media guy, and a lot of media people are playing this stupid stuff. Me, I just was one of those where I don't need to change my lineups while I'm sitting in a press box, highlighting my pregame notes, and then talking to players afterwards, trying to make sure I have my stories written in a manner. I just hated it. I mean, that was me. I did it a few years. Fans, I got no problem with them, although they get on my nerves, and I do much prefer the press box instead of some guy with some alcohol talking out of control. That's just not me. I'm a hardcore old school guy that keep your fantasy football. I prefer to my reality football. And I know a whole lot more than 90% of the people out there, and I'm not afraid to be outspoken about it. So I
get the point of fantasy football. I really do get the point of it because in one case you notice how many people are still watching with 2 minutes left in the game. 48, it's 49-3, and it's because you're hoping that your player is still in. They can get garbage yards to go get you points, and that's the whole point of that's the thing is it's kept the ratings up for the NFL. I get that point. But my biggest thing is the fact that I have such a problem with fans that they take it completely out of control.
Well, no question about it. No question about it. I mean, then again, but you know what, Jacob? I don't care what sport you're in. Don't you think fans take everything out of control anyways?
No, unfortunately, it's because it's.
I think golf is the safest sport for that.
Right. Well, even then.
No, there's a few wackadoos, but by and large, I mean, percentage rates, it's got to be lower.
Yeah, it was because people pay attention to Masters, they pay attention to U.S. Open, the Open in Britain. They pay attention to those. But other than that, I mean, it's like the Q school, like qualifying
Every
school.
Easter, I get mad at my husband for putting the Masters on.
Why is
Every
that?
single Easter, because I don't want to watch golf on TV. If I want to watch golf, I want tickets to the Masters. I mean, it's boring to watch people on the field. Like, that grass looks pretty. I want to go walk on that grass, darn it.
No, I'm with you all the way there, Jen. Yeah, I hear you. But
one thing I do like about the flag football status is they're incorporating girls and boys. Mm-hmm. And they're starting at a young age.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Teamwork and respect.
Right.
And respect for me is big. That's what I was brought up to learn and teach. You respect everyone. Even if I don't like you, I'll respect you. Or I'll show you respect until you push me to that point. Then you're going to get diplomatically shut down.
Well, I don't want, and I love the idea of boys and girls and flag football at safe because I don't want a 115-pound girl and something to tackle where a 240-pound person could just annihilate them.
Right.
Especially if they're pissed. I have an old school thing of this. You protect the women. So I don't want them annihilated. That's why I don't want them in the tackle football. But flag football, absolutely. I mean, there's some athletes doing that.
So, and that leads us to our next thing because it's including women in sports. I am a former athlete. I still have that athletic mind. Like I was telling one of my coworkers the other day, I get in competition with anybody and everybody. Usually it's me because I want to be the first one to do it.
Right.
But what I'm loving is we do have a first woman who is going to be following the shows of Susan Toe's spouse, Spencer. I don't know why I said spouse, Spencer, with Miss Caroline O'Connor being named the CEO and president of the Marlins. And
banner?
Scott,
we have a banner?
Huh? Oh, yeah, we do have a banner. Thank you.
No problem.
I actually made the time to do the banner today. So, Scott, I think you're more, no offense, Jacob. I know you know a lot about baseball, but I think Scott's more of the
Let him go.
baseball
No problem.
aficionado on this. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I remember when Kim Ng was hired, and
Uh-huh.
it was a huge deal here. Now, I got a couple perspectives on this. Number one, okay, Kim Ng and Don Mattingly parted company during the off season, and he didn't come back. And I'll be writing about this in the South Florida Tribune, anyways, probably in the coming week or two. I was waiting for a lot of things to play out.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got two women now, okay, but that doesn't mean it'll happen 1 or 2 years from now. Kim Ng knew that she was under a lot of pressure, knowing if there's going to be more women GM, she had to have success. Well, her success hasn't been that great yet. She's been here a couple of years, inherited Don Mattingly, and Miami, to me, is definitely not considered a very good baseball town because, number one, albeit the Marlins have won 2 world championships, one of them, came apart because of a fire sale, and the other one, they're a small market team and they couldn't keep them together and they had to trade them away. So Kim Ng has got pressure on her right now over the next couple of years. Now that she brought her manager Skip Schumacher to the mix, now you bring in this new lady here, handle the business. Mind you, she's handling the business side. She's not handling the personnel side. I don't know enough about her yet to tell you whether she's a good hire or not, but I do know that Derek Jeter brought her into the organization, and they must have thought enough of her to let her handle the business side. Now, but the question is does the business side mean the Marlins are going to spend more money or whatnot? Now, I believe they hired a woman executive out in Seattle, and that seems to have worked out pretty well for the Mariners.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. So I'm not going to sit here and try to give this woman a glowing endorsement one way or the other. I have no problem with 2 women running that part of the organization. But in the end, if they're not successful on the field, it wouldn't matter if you have Curious George the monkey and a dog running it. It all comes down to wins and losses and culture to get people to go back to Miami. Bear in mind, in Miami, this is a tough draw. You don't have a business district surrounding Lone Depot Park, Marlins Park, whatever, around there. You have Little Havana. So when you go to a game in Miami, what you have is you're going to the game and you're leaving. And that's it. You pay money for the garage to park over there and whatnot. So I guess my point is it's great right now. We'll see how it plays out. But if you don't have results on the field, for all I know, you may end up having 2 men in here 4 years from now if they continue to average 5,000-10,000 a game and the product isn't very good. So I think, if anything, Kim Ng is under fire right now. I truly believe she'll be under fire in the next couple of years to see how things go. But they can't keep treading like they are now. They can't.
One of the things I think about is it's like you have 2 of the women, and it's like Kim Ng deserved the job. I also think she deserved going to the White Sox or something that was better off. Like you said yourself, Miami is like, see, you go to the parking garage, you go to the baseball, you go home.
Right.
That's what you say yourself. The thing is, I just looked at this article today. Kansas City, mind you, which is, Kansas City is not Miami as far as a city, but they're even setting up a $2 billion business district, and the brand spanking new field around it. They're going to get rid of Kauffman Stadium, and they're going to get brand new, and it's going to be a $2 billion project. And it's like Oklahoma University put like $12 million into their golf center, just to be able to have things and be able to get in. Everybody, including simple like golf for like stuff, is spending money on things. Miami is just and it's like I was going to say this real fast. They're doing all of that, and it's like it makes me wonder: with this kind of deal, are they planning to leave in a couple of years?
Now, do you think?
Well, in Miami, that's not the case. Here's what you have to understand, both of you, okay?
Yeah, Miami's not going anywhere. I don't think.
Jeffrey Loria, let me tell you, Jeffrey Loria actually, I hate to say swindled Miami, but he did. Number one, they couldn't find an adequate anyhow, so they took the best deal they could get, and the city got fleeced. There's no way on heaven's earth, okay, that anybody in their right mind can, nothing against Little Havana, okay? I'm not at all. It's a beautiful
I
stadium.
love Little Havana. It's a beautiful area. I've
Well,
never
yeah.
seen the stadium.
Yeah, Little Havana's a nice area, and they've had the Orange Bowl there many years that supported the Dolphins in the 70,000 seat stadium. But that's not. But in this day and age, with how expensive tickets are, you're not getting anybody to go down there. They needed it more centrally located in the Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County area, and unfortunately, they blew it there. So I guess to make a long story short, okay, I heard about the Kansas City situation, Jacob. More power to them. But you have to have more to it around there. So I hope these two women do well together. But you know what? Winning is all that matters. It doesn't matter what the gender is, in my opinion. Okay, behind the top decision makers, it's all about wins and losses, no matter who.
No,
I want to make a point real quick.
Okay.
So I know that Caroline is the second woman to serve as the president of a Major League Baseball. Katie Griggs is actually the first of the Seattle Marlins. Mariners, sorry. But my question is this. So we've all seen what the Cubs have done. Mm-hmm. We've seen what the Yankees did with Aaron Judge. Wait, did Aaron really leave or no?
Not yet.
Okay, because I thought he signed, but then I also know Sheffers and Rappaport's Twitters were hacked. So I wasn't sure if he had actually left or not. But my question is this. Do you two, because I have my own opinion on this, think that women and sports executive and the C-level suites are held to a higher standard than men?
Oh, absolutely. But this is what I also think. I absolutely do believe this. But my reasoning, I was thinking all this about the women and the possibility of leaving. And I'll tell you why. Is because this is a team that is making history right now. Two women in the front office.
Yeah.
They're making complete history.
I love it.
They made history with Kim Ng. Mm-hmm. But they did absolutely nothing to help her to be able to get anybody in there to win there at all. Both 67-win seasons. There's doing nothing there. It's a miserable franchise still. And then now it's like, and I was saying, would Kim Ng make it? Yeah, she made it. And then they doubled down. They brought another woman in. But it's like, but they still, you brought up there in Little Havana, they still don't have something to really attract anybody for that deal. And it makes me wonder, is the idea of the women in front office position to be able to have a possible chance of moving, or either moving out of Miami or getting a new park and getting a new business district and everything, and using that as the advertising tool.
Well, question: do you think? And Scott, you're closer to this one than Jacob and I, literally and figuratively. Do you think since they did bring in a new GM and Shoemaker, but do you think that now that Jeter's gone, things will take a turn for the better? Because there was some people with little conspiracy theories. I never really bought into it. That Jeter bought into the Miami just to help sink them.
Now, here's the deal, Jennifer. Derek Jeter leaving was the worst thing that could have happened to this franchise, because he to me, he's one of the best baseball people out there. He just felt that he could not win with this franchise. So that was bad. And then you lose Don Mattingly. That's even worse. Right now, Skip Schumacher is like 40-some years old. He comes cheap. They'll probably retain some of the coaching staff. And don't forget, by the way, Sandy Alcantara is the first Marlin pitcher to ever win the Cy Young Award. Breaking news earlier today. I just mentioned it on here tonight.
Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, no, I've talked to Sandy a few times. What a great guy. And I've watched him pitch a lot. So, I mean, he's I just hope they can afford to keep this guy, down the road, because they keep trading away some of their best talent. And I don't think they have a player's number retired in Miami. So again, part of tradition is being able to have guys retired. Do I think that women are held to a higher standard? I'm mixed on that one. Okay. You don't have enough women to really be able to judge whether they are. held to a higher standard in major sports. You really don't. So I mean, that's just my opinion, Jacob. Okay.
Right.
I'm not sure. I think
No, absolutely. Like
it's a
I said,
limited
it's been
sample size,
well,
Jacob.
it's been held to a higher standard since Toe Spencer was in Philadelphia. It was held that high Spencer, and then she was making decisions, and they were hating on her. This has been this way since. And yes, there are. Let's just be honest about that. But right now, with the history being made, I think it's going to be you. I really believe whether it's leaving Miami, going somewhere else, or getting a business district, the building, they're going to. Here's the thing: if they get a business district and they get that kind of deal where they can move away from Little Havana, this is going to bring more women in the front office.
Will never happen. I'm just telling you. Well, listen. Will never happen. The city is so deep in debt with that stadium, it will never happen. So
I'm just saying, if they found a way, you're right. I'll give you that. You'd be correct on that. But if they found a way, this would open it up for others in other areas, and for other women in these things if they figured it out. Because you're right, they're in that kind of debt. So if they figured a business way to do that, it means the women are smart to figure that out. So as I said, they're trying to figure, and yes, they are held to a higher standard. So they would have to do a higher standard level of something like that, of that kind of business decision.
You know what higher standard you have there, Jacob? There's only one word for it, my friend.
Winning.
Ready? Miracle workers. That's what you've got, man. Forget the higher standard. There is no such thing here. I don't care where you're at. No.
Well, yeah,
and
Miami
my question arose because I look at the Cubs. And then when you take it to NFL, I look at what Elway did with the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. He didn't plan for the future.
Yeah.
So then you have women who are trying to plan for the future. And sorry, I didn't mean to bore you, Jacob.
I
know you yawned.
That wasn't a yawn. That was a yawn. I was trying to crack my jaw.
I was just looking at you anyway. But I feel like women just tend to be held to a higher standard, more expected out of us. Even if guys don't necessarily intend for it to be that way, it's just
Some do intend for it to be.
I see it.
But the question is, are they being held to a higher standard in the sports world or outside of the sports world?
And both, actually.
Right. Okay. But that's where I'm trying to throw the hypothetical at you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. In the sports world or out of the sports world. Because again, to me, the sports world, you have a smaller sample size than you do outside the sports world. I mean, I'm not saying that.
You do.
Fair, but I'm
it's fair. Because
we've
we've got 15, 20 C-level execs in sports world. I mean, like combined, like NBA, WNBA.
I mean, it's sample size. It just validates what I said. And now, if you're going to give me this conversation 10 years from now, we got a different animal, but we don't have much of one now.
Yeah, you can put it on the calendar, revisit this in 10 years.
Yeah. It's in my head, trust me.
I'll be retired and collecting Social Security someplace.
Scott, you're never retiring.
You're not going to retire, and you know it.
Oh, I know.
You're too high energy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now, mister. You're like my mama on that.
No, but those are, I really believe this is a test because, like I said, with the whole Kim Ng thing, there's not, as far as wins on the field, this has been 2 years now. As far as wins on the field, nothing's going on. Miami's still a miserable product. But I'm just saying, I'm not blaming Kim Ng for that. That's a miserable organization. I'm not going to put her blame on that. I'm just saying for bringing this in and really doubling down on getting the women into the work and into the C-suites, if you get that point, to get to that, you have to wonder if this is a test to see, because like I said, Miami feels like the only it feels like it's not right now, but it feels like the only organization not trying to advance anything business-wise.
Right.
It feels like it. It's like, and you have to wonder if this is a test to see if they can advance something.
I don't know. Like I said, you know what, Jacob, Jen, we could talk about this until our heart's content. We need to see wins and losses on the field. We just saw two great baseball people leave within the last year, Don Mattingly and Derek Jeter. I mean, what else can I tell you? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you have two women running the show in Miami. I don't think there's a lot of other men behind the scenes that are still trying to help on the personnel side. I haven't seen a woman manager yet. The only thing you ever had that resembled close of it was a young lady by the name of Rachel Balkovic for the Tampa Tarpons with the Yankees. So until I see a woman manager in the major leagues, I don't know. I'm not criticizing one thing. I need to see a lot more, and
Right.
is what I need before I can really give you a better answer what I am. Kim Ming has already been in action 2 years. I guess we're going to find out about her sooner than the other one because she's the one making the calls on the draft. So we'll have to see.
I'm still shocked that she made the 2 years after the 2 years, just because I was expecting. Remember, they both had 67 wins, and I'm like, both the years, and I'm like, I was thinking with Derek Jeter gone, is she going to survive? She did survive. Then they hired Caroline, and it's like.
So gentlemen, I'm going to interrupt you real quick because I know you guys have the next podcast in 2 minutes.
No,
we're going to hit.
We keep going. We keep going. We don't have to do it at 9 o'clock, do we?
Well, I mean, you know, I pretty much told them a little after 9, but a couple minutes if we have to, but not a whole
Let's
lot.
do about.
Let's
9.
do crypto. Well, let's do crypto. Next
we'll
week. We'll do crypto next week, you guys. But I do want to go ahead and let Scott tell everyone where they can find you at, please, sir.
Thank you, Jennifer. A lot of you guys can find me on the screen at Tribune South. It's Twitter. Our website's www.southfloridatribune.com. Candy Ebling runs it. She does some good stuff with you, Jennifer. But more
Candy's
importantly,
awesome.
Yeah, well, you know, you guys do a great job together. And you, Megan, Carrie, and Candy, to me, you're fun to watch. But the biggest thing for us is please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. Again, South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. We have all of our podcasts on that particular channel, whether it's 108 Stitches Baseball Talk, Inside the Pigskin Jen, for which you're on, Sports Exchange, which follows us here, and the list goes on and on. So once again, one last time, please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. We have a good working relationship with Sideline Sports, and we only figure to build on it in 2023 as we continue to, you know, find different ways to make sure the necessary people come on. So what a great relationship with all you guys. You know, you, Jennifer, you, Jacob, JB Ellis. He's like the younger brother. He's like a younger brother to me, and the list goes on. I'm not gonna
get your younger brother to quit smoking.
Yeah, Scott, your older brother just told you that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding, Jacob.
Who?
I said your older brother just told you that. I'm picking on Jacob right now. I'm older than Jacob is, by the way.
She's
Scott.
going after my gray hair.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you my older brother, Jacob? If you're close?
I just turned 75.
Yeah, well, all right, well, then
you look really good for 75.
If you turn 75, the Miami Marlins are building a stadium tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. But yeah,
hey,
please.
then I might come visit. I love Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, but once again, please subscribe to South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. Much appreciated. Thanks.
And Scott has some great other podcasts out there, including 108 Stitches, Inside the Pigskin. His wife, Candy, one of my co-hosts, has Fire Up Wisconsin. And I know there's a litany of others. So you guys check out their YouTube channel. Check out some of their stuff. It's really good. I know I'm on Inside the Pigskin, and I love working with Steve and Mel. Scott ain't half bad, you know, so.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I don't even care. Whatever. I always like to give props to my co-hosts. I'm only as good as you guys make me to be anyhow. So if that's what it takes, I've always felt if you don't have a good supporting cast, a host doesn't make a difference. You're only as good as your team around you.
Exactly. And Jacob, let everybody know where they can find you and when Yin and Yang is going to be coming on next.
Yin and Yang. It's like we got the Thursday night, and it's like I'm on Jake the Pundit on Twitter. If you like completely politically correct stuff, don't go there. And it's
for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Sunday nights, I am on Basket Bros. I am Monday nights with during the season with NBA Carousel with Megan Price, and I might have to ask to do the Sacramento again because they're actually good.
Actually, I got somebody to take Sacramento for you.
Oh, darn it. Okay. But anyway.
But I'm pretty sure I can get him to go with somebody else. You know this individual too, my buddy Trey Hughes.
Sure, yeah. But it's like, yeah, but I would love to get that. But it's like Tuesday nights during the season, the Confidential, and no more 11 o'clock, thank God. Wednesday nights here and with the Scott for Sports Exchange. Thursday night, tomorrow night, it is I'm away from Sideline Sports. I do a show called Yin and Yang with TJ Sanson. We have some really good topics tomorrow night, have to do with film, have to do with politics, some psychology along the way. And it's a different type of show, and I really enjoy it. And then we're also talking about, now that things are getting back to normal a little bit again, we're talking about our movies again and getting ideas. So we're getting some ideas going as we go. And her,
Yes.
by the way, my production company is Modern Warriors Entertainment. And hers is Sawdust and Tinsel.
You
And
know
don't forget
what?
about Basket Bros either there, Jacob.
I brought it up. I brought Basket Bros.
Yeah, all right. It got past me. That's a heck of a broadcast. You know what's so good about it is the fact that I lived it back covering the Pistons as a beat writer.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys can find me on Tuesday nights at 7:30 on Chicks and Salsa or Three Chicks in a Pod. That four-letter new broadcast stole our idea, but I take it as a compliment. And then obviously on Wednesday nights, you guys can find me here on Pundits Pundit with these two wonderful men. And you can also find me on Thursday nights on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel covering the Carolina Panthers, as well as on most weeks Inside the Pigskin. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be pulling double duty, doing two podcasts at once. And that's also Megan Price's Sip Off. And that is our 100th episode anniversary. 100th anniversary episode. Sorry, I went a little dyslexic there. You can also find me on as a producer on it, like usually during the spring for Basket Bros. Jay and I kind of trade on and off. Like he does football season for me, and I'll do the rest of the time. And then during the season, you'll also find me on Megan Price's NBA Carousel as well on Monday nights. So I hope you guys have a great night. And head on over to Tribune South. Watch these two gentlemen talk some more sports on and off the field. Scott, do you want to give a quick preview of tonight's show?
Well, yeah, actually, we have a really good show lined up. Thank you, Jennifer. We're going to be talking about I'll tell you what the title is going to be, and I want people to come. Tonight's title is that I will be eating crow.
Ooh.
With ketchup?
No, just plain old crow. Don't read into it like you always do.
After I go take off my makeup and put on my jammies, I have to tune in to watch you eat some crow.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I titled the show, Scott Will Be Eating Crow. So if you want to know what I will be eating crow about, I would encourage you in just a few minutes to go over to South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, and I'll tell you exactly why I'm going to do it. So
sounds good. Scott, I need to ask you something off camera. Y'all stay online for a few more minutes.
Sure.
And everybody, if you have any suggestions for us, reach out to any one of us, including Denzel Snipes, with some ideas that you would like to have covered, or put it on the Sideline Sports chat on Facebook. Thanks so much, and thanks for tuning in.
Take care.